Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Shanae Nicole, his millennial housewife, and today I'm so excited to talk to you a little bit more about fitness. So, his millennial housewife is all about becoming the best version of yourself through the standard of the Word of God, and I talk about that specifically through faith, family, and fitness. And so, y'all already know, like, I talk a lot about faith. Most of the videos so far have been about faith and that word, and that's what it should be, and that is working all the way in and through his millennial housewife. But fitness is also a very big part of his millennial housewife and becoming the best version of ourselves, because being a good steward of the body that God has given us is so important, because we need this body to complete what it is that God has placed us on this earth to do. We need to be able to be strong. We need to be able to operate at our highest capacity. And one of those ways I believe that you can do that is by working out, and specifically resistance training. And it's just been kind of on my heart, and I just been wanting to talk about it specifically because sometimes ladies, we can be like real standoffish when it comes to the weights. You be like, I ain't trying to be bulky, I ain't trying to look like no man. All these things in our heads that stop us from actually giving it a try. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about my experience with weight training and weightlifting and just training in general. And I'm hoping that it will just kickstart your motivation to get started, get moving. So for me, I grew up as an athlete. I've always been super active all through school, and I carry that on throughout my life. There have been periods of time where I was more sedentary, specifically in college, but I don't think I really gained the freshman 15 because I was still very active, and when I say active, I was just doing what I knew to do. So a lot of times I was just running or doing some type of cardio, but I knew that I needed to be in the gym. My experience with weights, I had none. I remember being in high school and on the basketball team, and I think we went to the weight room maybe like once or twice, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm just letting you know that I had no experience with that. And my body type in general is just very slender. When I gain weight, I tend to gain it in the midsection, but I've always been very slim since like maybe high school or so. So I'll post some pictures up there so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like, I had more so broad shoulders, a more narrow waist. I had an athletic build, and with that, I didn't have very much to work with. Like I said, I was athletic, but I didn't look I just looked lean, I should say. And I actually started hearing about resistance training through my husband, Danelle. And at the time, he was my business partner. He was my friend, He actually got me into fitness. My degree is in health and exercise science. And I didn't think that I wanted to go in that area at all, training at all. But after talking with him, he kind of convinced me, like, go get your certifications and things like that. So anyway, during this time, he introduced me to weights, because like I said before, I was just a cardio bunny. I mean, I was the one who had the Brazilian butt lift DVDs and Tybo. I was doing these things just because I was trying to be active. I just didn't know exactly what was going to fit me or what I needed to do. But I knew I needed to move to be healthy, to remain healthy. So anyway, he put me on weights. And guys, when I tell y'all, I just fell in love. Like, just being able to feel strong. I remember, like, the first time I got my first double under, like, I was practicing, and I finally got it, And I just remember, like, like, that feeling was just, I don't even know how to describe it, but I think a lot of that came from me being competitive and stuff throughout school with sports. But lifting weights was just another way. And I know like double unders, that's not lifting weights, but I was really introduced to it through CrossFit. We started out doing like CrossFit style workouts and things like that, and that included some Olympic lifts and a lot of metabolic things, workouts, HIIT, plyometrics, things like that. And I just really fell in love with the training. And what I wanted to say was, because I started to get stronger, I started to see my body change, and it was a very slow process, because like I said, I'm lean in general. I didn't have hips, I had no real shape. I felt like I had a more athletic. I would say athletic because I'm staying positive, but I have more of an athletic build. But what resistance training has done for me is given me a little more shape. It's helped me fill out a little bit more, and that has helped me fit my clothes better and everything like that. So I'm encouraging you ladies out there to not be afraid to pick up a weight. A lot of times you think like, oh, well, I don't want to be built, I don't want to be all bulky, and the reality is, of course there's some people that do go that route, and they have they may be are using other things to help them. But then you have some ladies out there who are just naturally athletic, like they have a natural muscular build about them. It's like they don't work out, but it looks like they work out, so with them they may cut and start leaning out, and you can start really seeing the definition in their body a little bit easier. But for the most part, we're not gonna just bulk up. Even them, they might not bulk up like you're envisioning when you think of weights. And because I mean, shoot, the weight you talking about not lifting a lot of times is, I don't want this 10 pounds, or I don't want to pick up 20 pounds. No, that's way too much. When in reality, we're picking that up, shoot, with our kids. We're lifting that with groceries every day, So we're picking up, we're pulling, we're pushing a lot of weight on a daily basis, but we don't realize it. But when we step into the gym, we shy away from picking up that weight, when really it's helping us. You hear about resistance training and how it helps to build strong muscle, bone density. As we get older, it's just the world that we live in. Our bodies are under pressure, it's under stress, and it's deteriorating. So there's things that we can do to help slow the process down, right? That's not like a negative confession or anything. It's just we have to do things to make sure that we're doing the best with what God gave us. And I believe that exercising is one of those things that He has given us to help us to slow that process down and to be good stewards over the bodies that He's given us. So not only like I said, bone density, building strong muscles, it helps with the metabolism and speeding up that metabolism, but also just aesthetically, I feel like women, we look better as we do some type of resistance training. And I think like if you would give it a chance, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because like I said, when I started working out, I never imagined that I would be lifting the weight that I am lifting, but I love it. And I remember being in some of the best shape of my life just before having Darren, my son. And I always would get compliments like on my arms and just how I looked. And it's like I had been lifting weight, and my husband would tell people like, she lifts like it's like the work that I'm putting in, the weight that I'm lifting, it doesn't look how you think in your mind, like, oh, she's bulky, you know what I mean? You look like a man, like, no. And I think that that's one of those myths that we have to get past as ladies. And when it comes to lifting weights in our fitness, like, resistance training needs to be in your program. If it's not in your fitness program, it needs to be. And that's for ladies, whether you're wanting to gain weight, whether you're wanting to lose weight, or just be healthy. You know, I think a lot of times when ladies specifically, when they want to lose weight, they're thinking like, well, shoot, I already feel big. Like, I'm not trying to lift no weights and get even bulkier. But like I said, you know, a lot of times that mindset of what you think of as heavy, it might be like a 20 or 30 pound dumbbell, which is, you know, it's something that you're lifting anyway, you know, but you just don't realize it. So I just want to hopefully just get your mind out of the kind of ditch of, you know, I don't want to lift weights, you know. And even if you don't want to be cut, like, you might be saying, well, I don't want definition in my arms or anything like that, and that's fine too. But it doesn't take away from the benefits of you doing resistance training. All of our bodies, like I said, they're different. You know, I describe my body type is more an athletic build, and you know, it responds differently to different stimuli. And the same thing for, you know, if you're tend to be like a pear shape, or, you know, a different type of body, you have a different type of body, you carry weight in different areas. So everybody is different, but that's the advantage of having a program to where you can tweak different things. Like, you still incorporate some type of cardio, some type of resistance training, and other things in your program, but it's just tweaked specifically for you and for your body. And you want to make sure that you are doing this in your program. So like I said, I just want to encourage you guys to open your mind to this if you haven't already. And if you've been kind of slow with it, where it's like, yeah, I've been saying I want to get in the gym and do this, like, this is your health, you know. If you don't use it, you lose it when it comes to the things that you're doing with your body. And I mean, it's the same thing I think about with school, you know. You can go to school and they'll be like, you out of school for a year, and it's like, you know, because you're not constant. If you're not constantly using the knowledge that you've taken in, you'll start to forget it. You'll start to lose it. And that's the same thing with our bodies. You know, if you're not using these muscles, you know, if you're not putting the pressure on them to grow, then you're losing that. You know, like I said, we're losing, especially when it comes to women. They talk about losing bone density and things like that. Well, adding that resistance training in your program is going to help slow that process down. It's going to help you. It's not going to harm you. You know, I'm not saying you got to be throwing around hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but what I am saying is that you're probably a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for. And that's the thing. You know, you want to, it doesn't make sense for you to not do anything that, you know, that's below you, right? Everybody has to start somewhere, but 9 times out of 10, we're a lot stronger than we even realize. So I just want to encourage you to get moving, to make sure that you are being a good steward of your body in this way. And this is a way that you can start to become the best version of yourself. So until next time, I will talk to y'all soon.